Hello everyone, my name is Isaiah Korn, and today I will be discussing on why we should all take gun control seriously. So let's begin. It has been apparent to me and to all of you that gun control is a very serious issue and it is a much talked about topic in our government as well. There have been many recent shootings such as those that occurred at Michigan, which claimed the lives of 4 students, and many more mass shootings such as the Las Vegas Strip Massacre, the Orlando nightclub massacre, Columbine, and many other more shootings that should not have happened in our government. So today, what I want to do is I want to explain the many factors of why some of us are for and are against gun control. And so with that, let us begin with the factors. So I believe that there are a lot of factors that may play into why some of us may be against gun control. Some of these may be that if we are to, say, limit or put background checks or restrictions on weapons, those weapons would probably include assault rifles, would probably include many rifles that are in some ways standard issue for the military, in a sense. People would probably think that we are giving up our Second Amendment right to bear arms, which is in the Constitution of the United States. And that is a viable argument, but what also could be another factor is that if we are to, once again, put background checks on the many weapons that could be standard issue for the military and could also limit the purchasing of firearms, one could possibly argue that we are giving up a symbol of American freedom, which is the firearm, which has been used in many countless wars and many other rebellions in this country as well. Another cause that could be contributed to mass shootings are illegal weapons, as a report from the Secret Service stated that 34 mass attacks that took place in the U.S. last year. Of those 24, they were conducted via firearms, of which at least 10 or 42% involved illegally owned guns, such as those possessed by minors or people with felony convictions or adverse mental health judgments. Now, I believe this should be concerning to anyone in this case, since a person who has been convicted, not to mention a felonious conviction, could simply walk into a gun store, purchase a firearm with no restrictions whatsoever, and then cause serious harm to those who did not deserve it. And then also, in an article by George Zavalius, who is a psychiatrist, he reported that the FBI is seeing a trend of mass shootings resulting from lower profile interpersonal disputes of a highly emotional nature, with family feuds, domestic relationship disputes, and conflicts arising during home events as opposed to the tangible connections through work settings. This means that many kinds of people may display different warning signs and that reporting any suspicious behavior to law enforcement is vital to preventing more tragedies. So, a modern example of this would be, say, if someone on Facebook or social media would say that they are going to shoot up a school or shoot up a public event of some sort. Well, this kind of behavior is often unreported to some law enforcement, which is why most attacks occur, because many of us are too afraid to report any suspicious behavior that may prove vital to stopping an attack from happening. Now let's go to responsibility. So, despite what many of you may believe about the NRA or if some of you do take sides with the NRA, and maybe some of you are a part of the NRA, I believe that the NRA should not only be held responsible for past tragedies, but the present ones as well, since these are the weapons that the perpetrators who use in these mass shootings are manufactured by them. In a secret recording of a meeting at the NRA after the Columbine shooting, NRA official Jim Land said, and I quote, "I got to tell you, we got to think this thing through. Because if we tuck tail and run, we're going to be accepting responsibility for what happened out there." And then another ARA public relations consultant replied, and I quote, "That's one very good argument. On the one side, if you don't appear to be deferential in honoring the dead, you end up being a tremendous idiot." There's a cuss word there, so I will not cuss, excuse me. Who wouldn't tuck tail and run, you know? So it's a double-edged sword. So basically, this means that the NRA, instead of accepting responsibility for the many senseless and countless tragedies that have happened in the past and present, they choose to instead pretend that they sympathize with the victims of these many countless tragedies and their families as well. So in conclusion, I believe that it is important that we must pass background checks in our government, not only for our safety, but the future generation's safety as well. In my opinion, the United States should be a free country, free of any domestic terrorist threat, free of any mass shooting, and we should not have to worry about the constant reminder that we may never ever see each other or our loved ones again just because of a senseless tragedy that could have been avoided had we just taken the necessary precautions to put background checks into purchasing firearms that may be dangerous to other humans. I believe that it is also important that we educate those on the signs of mass shooters as well, as some of these could be the mentally ill and they could also be young teenagers who are bullied in school as well. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me. And I hope all of you have a great day.